Tonight, New York City, at the center of President Trump's escalating crackdown on illegal immigration. Federal agents arresting an alleged ringleader for the notorious Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, who they say is wanted for kidnapping and assault. New Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem in body armor overseeing the roundup.
They're getting the mates off these streets.
President Trump last night touting the ongoing arrests.
We are throwing them the hell out of our country. We have no apologies, and we're moving forward very fast.
Two sources familiar with the planning confirmed to NBC News ICE leadership has told agents to increase their arrest of undocumented immigrants to 1,200 to 1,500 per day nationwide. One source calling it a quota, adding agents may be penalized for not meeting it.
Mexico! Mexico!
Across the country, Trump's deportations are sparking both fierce backlash.
There's a real goal here to stoke fear into the American people.
And strong support.
I'm really happy it's happening. Very happy, actually.
After NBC News reported nearly half of undocumented immigrants arrested Sunday had no prior criminal record besides being in the country illegally, NBC's Peter Alexander asking the White House.
So is violent offenders no longer the predicate for these people to be deported?
If you are an individual, a foreign national, who illegally enters the United States of America, you are, by definition, a criminal.
The cost of all this can be staggering. Two sources familiar with the process tell NBC News deporting one migrant runs around $10,500. Here in New York, city officials estimate it costs an average of $352 a night to house asylum seekers.
Are you scared?
La verdad, sí.
Catherine Espancha from Venezuela says she and her daughters have stayed at this hotel, a migrant shelter, for 6 months. That could be a price tag to taxpayers of more than $63,000. And three sources familiar with the planning tell NBC News that large-scale arrests will now happen in 3 U.S. cities per week.
I am also signing an executive order to instruct the Departments of Defense and Homeland Security to begin preparing the 30,000-person migrant facility at Guantanamo Bay. Most people don't even know about it. We have 30,000 beds in Guantanamo to detain the worst criminal illegal aliens threatening the American people. Some of them are so bad we don't even trust the countries to hold them because we don't want them coming back, so we're going to send them out to Guantanamo. This will double our capacity immediately, right? And that's a tough place to get out of. Today's signings bring us one step closer to eradicating the scourge of migrant crime in our communities once and for all. And it was just it's just an unforced error that we even have to be doing this. Now we need Congress to provide full funding for the complete and total restoration of our sovereign borders, as well as financial support to remove record numbers of illegal aliens. And these are illegal alien killers, criminals at levels that nobody's ever seen before. And you would have known that, and you were there when I said it. I said everybody that's bad is going to be thrown. If you look at Venezuela, Venezuela's crime is down 77% because they've taken their gang members, their prisoners, their drug dealers, their drug lords. They've shipped them all into the United States. Many other countries, their crime is way down, and our crime is not doing well. But we're going to have it do really well very soon, and we're shipping all these people back where they came from.
Navarro, I'm a bounty hunter by trade. I've been introduced by my agency. I'm from Seattle. Tacoma called me and told me that as the waves go through, this is the first wave. The second and third is when they're going to hire us. The ICE is going to hire us bounty hunters, and they're going to be giving $1,500 to $1,000 per illegal. How are you going to stop us from coming through? Because we don't have to worry about warrants. We don't really have to follow too many of the laws. And if we're going to be deputized by ICE, we can pretty much do anything we want. They're already going over there and creating the squads as we speak now. That's why they called me. So as soon as I get back with my squad in Tacoma, we will be coming down the state. $1,000 per illegal is a pretty good price. Just to do things that you kind of enjoy. How or what you guys are going to do to stop that? Are you going to pay us more? Are you going to pay us $2,000 to just leave them alone?
Well, if you should be making those kind of comments, you're going to create panic right now.
I'm not creating panic. I'm trying to give you guys informed of what's going on.
You're comparing numbers right now. You shouldn't be doing that.
Well, I'm just stating a fact of what are you guys going to do to stop us from doing our job.
Maybe you shouldn't be doing that job at all.
Why? What part of illegal don't you understand?
Can't put a price on.
You can put a price on every human being. Every human is worth $1 an ounce.
It's not right.
On Thursday, ICE detained American citizens, a military veteran, and one of my colleagues and her son, who is 8 years old. Now, my colleague and her son are Black American citizens. They have Jamaican ancestry. They were detained for over 24 hours. That's how long it took us and lawyers to get them out of ICE detainment. And the son now has extensive trauma, and they are Black Americans. I'm not sitting this out. I just said in another video, I'm not sitting anything out because our community is going to need us. Black Americans were detained. That means they're not going after just people who are illegals, as you want to call them. They're going after whoever they can. And the 14th Amendment was an amendment that gave Black people birthright citizenship that were descendants of slaves. So if that is repealed and they go after one group, who do you think they're going after next? I'm not sitting anything out. Not when my community is going to need me. I'm not going to do it.
This is Revelations 13 and 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Kahala Yahweh Ba'Shem El Shai Ba'Shem Kokodash, which are the true Hebrew names of the Most High Father, Yahweh, which is Hebrew for He is, and His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, which is Hebrew for He is salvation, He delivers. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect, with the house of David reborn again in this generation. And Shalom to the 130 Yasharallah, who today are known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who before losing our true heritage, we are known as, and still are, the true Israelites of the Holy Bible. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about the ICE raids going after illegals and how that is ultimately going to lead to a detention system for all Americans, including the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and even the so-called Caucasians, or should I say Edomites. Now, in this scripture here, what it talks about is the coming 5th beast, right? Basically America, Babylon the Great, which is simply the Roman Empire reborn again, right? Rome 2.0. And when it says here that the beast coming up out of the earth, and that it had 2 horns like a lamb, this is talking about the false system which is put in front of us here in Babylon the Great, America, that being the left and right hand side, the Democrats and the Republicans, as if they are a solution to our problems. We just have to vote the right way, right? But in reality, both sides are the same party, but just appearing to be separate from each other. Now when it says here, and he spake as a dragon, well, we're starting to see that now, right? We're starting to see the draconian laws coming down. There was a tweet from Donald Trump's, I think, son Eric, basically coming out and invoking, hellfire, right? In their actions, if you stand against what they're trying to do here in America and to bring in the golden American age. You see, these Edomites, they want to restore America, Babylon the Great, right? And they want to make America great again, which basically just means back to the time when they were in control. Now, that being said, like I mentioned, it's not only going to be the illegal immigrants that have come into this country, right? That whole thing of them coming into the country illegally was a setup. Yes, there were immigrants that were pushed into this country to inflate the numbers and, even try to, I'm sure, skew the election. But what was really behind that is to create a need for an emergency action to take place. You see, without the immigrant crisis, then there wouldn't be reasons to invoke all these measures of detainment or laws that are going to be needed to arrest people, right? To detain citizens. Like we read here, or like it reads here in this article, it says Trump immigration raids snag U.S. citizens, including Native Americans, raising racial profiling fears. A U.S. veteran and Navajo resident have been asked for identification. Critics are complaining of racial profiling as raids and deportations increase. And again, see, so now, like I had mentioned, now Babylon the Great, these Edomites now have a reason to require you to have a digital ID, right? Pretty soon, these false imprisonments of basically catching up citizens and so-called Native American Indians, and even, like the lady had mentioned, so-called African Americans, is going to cause a lot of problems or the perceived problems, okay? This is all being done on purpose because, you see, this is then going to push the narrative that we all need digital IDs to make identification a lot easier. And with that, digital IDs and the facial recognition cameras that have basically gone up all over major cities, and this new satellite identification system called Waldo, which is, for the most part, it's live action surveillance from space around the world.
First week of 2025 has started off with a bang. Waldo 3 was released, which is an AI system that can track just about anything in the entire world. It stands for the Whereabouts Assertion for Low-Lying Detectable Objects. And by the way, assertion means process of finding out anything specifically. Anything. It's able to detect vehicles, utility poles, bikes, boats, buildings, shipping containers, and people. It's already being used for disaster recovery, wildlife monitoring, infrastructure monitoring, traffic flow management, crowd counting, and drone safety. It's open source public software, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be used in the most productive ways possible. Happy New Year's, people. Peace.
So these devils, these Edomites, are going to basically have eye in the sky, right? To be able to record and see everything live, like they're trying to be God, okay? And what they'll be able to do now that you'll be forced to have a digital ID is they'll be able to identify everybody that's outside or within a public view from space, just like they do in China. But China does it, from the streets. But Esau, he's going to go into space with it, right? Because again, why? Well, like the scriptures say, right? He has built his nest in the heavens. Okay, he controls this world right now. This world has been given into the hands of the wicked, right? Job 9:24. That's talking about these Edomites, the so-called Caucasian and Israeli race. Now, in the very beginning video where you seen Trump talking about that he's instructed his administration to get ready Guantanamo Bay and that they have 30,000 beds there for the dangerous illegals and criminals. Notice he said, and criminals. Okay? Though he says criminals, remember, you could cross, you could get in trouble for jaywalking and you could be a criminal. Okay? And these devils, they just signed, I think today, Trump signed an anti-Semitism bill where he says he's going to be targeting those students who are bringing up the Palestinian plight in these colleges, and he's seeking to deport them. Well, pretty soon these devils are going to make speaking out against these Amalekites, a hate speech, hate crime, okay? And that then is going to make you a criminal. So why do you think they're setting up Guantanamo Bay? Why do you think they had the NDAA, right? The National Defense Authorization Act, right? Or the Patriot Act. So that way they could then label U.S. citizens as enemy combatants, right? Or criminals. And what that's going to open up is that you could be sent to one of these detention camps, either there in Guantanamo or someplace here in America, right? We've all seen those FEMA camps being opened. Well, it looks like Esau's getting ready to use them. This is Jeremiah 30:7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So these devils, knowing that they have a little bit of time, they are aggressively pursuing their agenda. They are aggressively seeking to make America great again, right? To try to take America back from its destruction, but that ain't going to help. You see, these devils are going to bring the hammer down, and they're going to come up against everybody who is not for the golden American age, right? Like Eric Trump has said. And that includes, you know, people like us, right? Out here talking about the downfall of Babylon the Great, right? Because again, why? Well, because you see, we are nipping at Amalek's heels. And right now, Amalek controls the American Edomites. And though they pretend to not, you know, regard us or regard this truth of ours, this is probably the most dangerous bit of information to come out as the true biblical Israelites and point out that the imposters are over in the land right now, performing all these wicked acts and using our identity as a cloak for their maliciousness. So again, this is why this truth is going to cause these devils to fear and ultimately to try to take action, but they're going to do it in a covert action so that way they don't draw attention to themselves or to this truth. This 2nd Ezra's 16:71. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. So you see, we are coming up on Jacob's trouble. Right? You have other camps and other people saying that there's going to be no Jacob's trouble, but that's not true. Right? The Bible makes it very clear that the Israelites are going to go through a tumultuous time, right? The tribulation. Right? Even the Christians understand this, and they try to meld it into their false doctrine of the pre-tribulation rapture, thinking that they're going to get taken up before these tribulations happen. But no, the Bible makes it very clear that this test shall come upon all the world to try them. So nobody's going to escape from this, right? And the Messiah himself said, those same that shall endure until the end, that shall last until the end, those same shall be saved. Meaning that everybody's going to have to go through this. And eventually when they come out with these RFID implantable microchips, which are the mark of the beast, you're going to have to, you know, decline and basically do without, and then at that point, you know, exit out of this known society, because it's the same reason why they put locks on CVS refrigerators, the same reason why they're taking cash out of stores, because they're getting the society ready for you to be required to have that RFID implantable microchip, the mark of the beast, to interact, to buy, to sell, right, to enter into places. But again, if you don't take that mark, you ain't going to be able to be involved in Esau society, right? I think it was Bill Gates. He said that if you don't have a digital ID, that you should ultimately not be able to participate in society. Right? Then you have other Edomites out there talking about that they should make digital ID mandatory by 2028, just 3 years away. And these devils are more likely going to bring this up ahead of schedule, right? You could already see there's postings here on X. It says, I was recently handed this RFID chip bracelet at work. It is now commonly used in healthcare to unlock computers and bypass password logins for electronic charting. Those who have eyes to see know where all this is leading. And I think I've said it before, but one thing, I work in IT. I work, with computers, and one of my jobs, that I always do, is helping people log into the systems because everybody forgets their passwords. And right now, the government, Esau, is coming down with strictness as far as logging into these computers. You now have to have a phone or an email account where you can verify a code, and basically it's called MFA, multi-factor authentication. Okay, that's what that is. Now, that isn't just being done just to make things more secure. It could be for that, but another reason why it's being done is because of this. This man here revealed it, right? And I've always said that they're making logging into your accounts and all of these password constant password changes, they're purposely making it inconvenient. So that way when they come with the solution, you're gonna love it. Because why? Because you'll be able to bypass password logins. Okay? No more having to log in, check your phone for a code, or check your email for codes. You just have to get a chip, and then the computer will know who you are, and you'll be logged all into your system. So this is what we're going into, Akim. This is these devils speaking as dragons, right? Talking about if you don't like it, you could get out, right? That if you stand up against the golden age of America, you're going to be considered an enemy. This is Isaiah 55:6. Seek ye Yahweh B'Shem Yahshai while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. And let him return unto Yahweh B'Shem Yahshai, and he will have mercy upon him. And to our power, for he will abundantly pardon. So, there you go, Akim. We all know what's going on. We all could see that though Trump is bringing forward good news and good agendas by getting rid of, wickedness and certain things, he ultimately is pushing forward an agenda which is going to fulfill what the Bible talks about. The prophecies of the mark of the beast, the prophecies of these devils coming down upon the Israelites, right? Sparing none, right? All these things are happening before our eyes, and you can't stop it. This is prophecy, okay? You could go out, what you can do is you could go out there and you could, spread the gospel, spread this message to our people. Share these videos and share the knowledge, so that way we could save as many as the Lord will want, and ultimately just do the work, so that way we ourselves can seek that salvation, that hedge of protection that we're going to need to get through all this wickedness. So hopefully this video was edifying. Until the next time, I want to give all honor and glory and praises to Yahweh B'Shem Yahshai B'Shem Kodash. Shalom.